All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Saturday, May 21st, 2016, and the title of this morning's webinar is How to Make Safe and Profitable Trades. And as everyone knows who's been to our webinars or our live trading rooms, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to get started. By the way, just a real quick survey of the team here. How many of you are building a little chart that looks kind of like this right here? Anybody? Everybody? Just curious. Or do you feel that you're good enough to look at the chart with all the information on it, for lack of better terms, being able to see the individual trees for the entire forest? Anybody? Because if you want me to, I'll take a minute or so and show you how to actually build this template if you want, because I kind of like it. And in the morning, when I'm getting my cup of coffee, keep in mind when you get up in the morning, there's a lot of times that you're going to be kind of tired. Maybe you didn't have a real good night's sleep or whatever, and that's really important to trading also. So, I'd highly recommend at least knowing, what direction you're going to take those trades. And, this little chart right here, I think helps quite a bit. Just see it built from start to finish. We'll just do that. Okay. Let me go ahead and pause the screen a second. I'll get rid of this chart. And we will just simply bring up a new chart. Just bring up a TF4 range with nothing on it, no template or anything, if y'all want to do this and follow along at all. Okay, we'll just take about 5 minutes to do this. Okay, this is just a basic 4-range chart with NinjaTrader. Okay? Now what you want to do is once you get this little chart up here like this, then go ahead and go and right-click and go to Data Series. Okay, right-click and go to Data Series. Notice how it's defaulted on Ninja to be red and green, wicks are black, candle outlines are black. Well, you don't want to see all that if you want to see this particular chart. So what you simply do is just go to your candle outline, change that to transparent, like that. You change the red to transparent, like that. You change the green to transparent, like that. And you change this little black wick to transparent also. Now don't save this because otherwise you're not going to have any bars. Okay, all you want to do is just, all these bars need to be on the chart, but you don't want to be able to see them. So everybody got that part so far. Just simply change everything to transparent right here. Okay, the candle outline, the down bar color, the up bar color, and the wick, all transparent. Okay, all right, I'll stop for just a second for people to write that down. Okay, once you do that, then just click OK, and there's your chart. You have nothing on it, right? Okay, now if you want to, I personally like it on a black background, so just go to right-click and go to Properties, down here, like that, and then just go ahead and do your background as black. Don't set it as your default or it'll remember that even on your Viper stuff. Just simply click Apply or OK. Now, I don't personally like to see this line either. You can get rid of that if you want to. That is on the session break line, I believe, on the data series. You can get rid of that also if you want. It's no big deal if you don't. Okay, like that. Now, you're ready to build your chart, right? So what I do then is I want to put some indicators on it. So I go right-click and go to Indicators. All right, and what you want to put on this chart, first off, you want to be able to have your toolbar, obviously. So I would click that. Okay. you want to have all 4 lightnings. And what I would personally do, so you can see it on a black background a lot easier, it's up to you what color you want to do this in, okay? The lightning 1 and 2, I just leave simply alone like they are. Just double click and put them on your chart, okay? Just the way we've got them to begin with. 4 range 2, 4 range 1 swing strengths, okay? And then your lightning 3, this particular one, I like to personally have the dark green and the gold. They show up kind of nicely, but you don't have to have dark green because it won't show up on black as easily. So you might want to do something like more a lime or something like that, okay? And then on your number 4 here, we normally do that in navy and white. I would probably, if I were you, navy won't show up on black very good at all. So I'd do like maybe a cyan or something like that. And then snow white's fine, or white. And then you want to change this also to that same one, which would be your cyan, like so. Okay. And then if you want to do predictor on here too, just go ahead and double click predictor. It's preset like that. And then you're really ready to go. That's all there is to it. Let me go to number 3 here though and change this green to like a little lighter green too, because dark green does not show up very well on black. Okay. And then just click OK. Once you click OK, you should be able to have some numbers and things like that on your chart, just like we showed just a second ago. And of course you can get rid of predictor, just hide it. And there you go. And then just right click and save that as a template. Just call it anything you want it to be. I call mine webinar. Okay, but you can call it obviously, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And then when you get ready to load one next time, if you don't save it as part of your workspace, you'll just be able to pull it up by your template. Everybody get that all? I wanted to go over that real quick because several people have asked me about that. And I don't really think it would be a good idea to put this template on the website, simply because it might be confusing to people that haven't possibly not been to the webinar. They won't even know what we're doing here. Okay. There's people out there that, may watch webinars and some of them don't. Got lots and lots of people all over the world. All right. So once you do that, then obviously you can simply start drawing. Your backspace is your lightning 4. Double click it and it'll usually draw it just like that. Okay. And then of course you've got your lightning 3. That's your control key. Usually I don't draw that except maybe a 1, 2, 3. Just draw it from down here and you'll basically see it drawing. It's drawing here and then it looks like here. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, there it is. That's the lightning 3. It's basically following lightning 4. Now, by looking at this chart, is it almost a no-brainer what direction this chart's going? Because the way every time we explain that your highs are higher and your lows are higher on an uptrend, I mean, that's so basic, it's unreal, right? If you're going to go up a set of stairs, are you going to be going, up some stairs and then back down? Or if you're going to stay with that same trend going up, you're going to step up each step, right? And that's what you're doing on this chart. You're stepping up. You're pulling back to check. You're stepping up. You're pulling back to check. Now, notice lots of times where those end up. I'm going to change this color because everybody knows dark blue doesn't go very well with black either, right? We'll put it with a nice shiny color today. Spring green will be fine. All right, everybody see that? Look at that. Thrust up, retrace, comes almost right back into the previous swing, doesn't it? And you'll see that time and time again, especially when you get a leg 1, the leg 2 retrace, and then they pop up and then they pull back. And that is one of the simplest trades that I can think of to look for. And you've also got all these lines on your chart so you can tell where, for instance, like your next trade is. Now, we've got a lot of indicators that are going to tell us even more than that. And I'm going to get on those in just a moment. Does everybody see how easy it is to just do a quick little chart like this and see what direction the trend is? And then, of course, if you have our other indicators, it's pretty obvious, right? Because we highlight the backgrounds, we highlight the mid bands. You know, you can tell when, you know, Phantom is stepping up that you're in an uptrend. You know, you can go to both Phantoms and check it. You know, it's sure stepping up, right? So the question would be, if you were going to trade this, what type of a trade could you possibly be looking for? What type of a trade would you think? And I like to draw on my charts always, so I scrunch them up a little bit so I can see where they've been. All right, now when we broke this little swing here, barely, it came back and checked, but it's now broken. So where do you think it's going to check? I would draw lines on it. I would think it would check here, right? Let's go back to our darker colors so we can see it. We'll go with the midnight blue. All right, and then you've got another swing here. They haven't tested that swing, have they? Or this one. So I would draw lines on my chart where these nice a priori swings are. And then look where they fall in. A line 2 trade, a phantom trade, right? Now, does that mean that we cannot go ahead and do some of this scalping like, you know, Mindy was talking about just a minute ago, to give an example? Well, sure, there's easy scalps on this chart, and I see one right now. I absolutely see one. Do y'all? It's right here. Here's lightning. Now, this is not the trade I'm going to teach as much tonight, but it is a good trade. See that little lightning swing right there? Now, it may even get tighter than this in a minute. We don't know, but right now, that's a high, that's a low, that's a little higher high. So if I was going to do this for a scalp, I'd probably be looking to short that. Now, keep in mind, you're saying, well, wait a minute, this is an uptrend. Well, we're talking about trying to get down to these, you know, when they start topping out, to give an example. And by the way, when they're going sideways like this and you really haven't taken out the tops, it's kind of scary to just short it right here, isn't it? You know, because in hindsight, of course, you can clearly see that this is actually a top right there. See, it hit it and it pulled back, right? But would you short that? Normally, as a rule, I wouldn't, you know, unless you're going to really be quick at it and try to take some coin like down here even, because this could so easily just go boom, way up there, just boom, take off. Okay, so I trust lightning a little bit more than that. And you'll watch it kind of zigzag around and you'll be able to see that type of trade. But what about this type of trade that we see on the charts all the time? That how to make safe and profitable trades. You know, into these ellipses, to give an example, SafeTrades, right? You know, where's another ellipse sitting down here? We don't have another one just yet because it hasn't gone far enough. But wouldn't you think, by looking at this chart right now, that more than likely you've got a trade right down in this area? Right down in here, because you've clearly got support, 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 and we went just a little further and went to that one. Now let's check this one and see if it's been to it yet. It kind of did, you know, right through here, but, you know, it could easily check it again, right? But that is below phantom. See there? So see why I'm not counting that one? Because if that's below phantom, then more than likely I'm going to be short to begin with. So we'll remove that one. You know, as long as you can stay in this area right here on your little retraces, between these 48 ticks, or actually it'd be closer, let me move this just a second. Instead of being the full 48 ticks, which is that, okay, you want to take 6 of them off this way and 6 of them off this way. That's the little area right there that prices oscillate in, okay? Now that's actually, if you take 48 minus 12, is what, 36. So basically you've got 36 ticks in here that this can bounce around, and you look to the left to trade the right, okay? Now, are there some good trades in here? Absolutely there are, and we've just got to look for them, okay? So could we short this on another chart if we get a little lightning swing? The answer is yes on that, if you're gutsy enough to do it and you watch what you're doing. because if you get into a short, let's say for instance this shorted under here and you're thinking, whoa, wait a minute, that's mid-band. Well, it's already been there 3 or 4 times, so it's more than likely going to go lower to begin with. They usually do. They check them twice. They check them again, and can't take out those highs. They're going to go lower. They're going to get down in here because they're trying to get here, here, and even here. Okay, that's what they're doing. They thrust it up. They said, okay, we got these new highs. Now what do we do with them? And the other bar says to the other one, well, let's check where we've been. Let's look to the left to trade the right. And that's what these bars are doing. They're constantly doing this thrust retrace. And where too many traders get involved in stuff like this is they go long. Let's say, for instance, that you saw this in real life. You said, oh, man, I got to get in this thing. It's going up. And they fake you right here, and they pull it all the way back down. And they take your money. So the only way to take a trade like that would be, let's say that this was a legitimate time of the day and you walked into your computer and you said, well, I'm going to take a chance on this. Well, if you do, then don't let them come back in here. Because if they're going to head up, as a rule, they're going to head up. They're not going to leave you in the dirt. So you got to, use your little micro lightnings at least if you're going to get in thrust type trades. Okay. Let's see, any questions on this so far? Thrust and pullback, that's exactly right. And when you see these, by the way, I've gotten to where I kind of like these quick little shorts when they hit these ellipses. 5 ticks, 5 ticks. Everybody see that? 5 ticks. See it right across there, hit that ellipse exactly. But again, you got to be fairly gutsy because this could so easily just go wham, way up there. So you've got to be ready to get out of the trade if you do these type of trades. Anytime they're doing these thrusts, they're gonna consolidate in these ellipses. Look at it when it hits the ellipse. Missed this one, you never got that trade. You did get your yellow bar probe. It hit this one, rolled over, got 5 ticks. Missed that one. This one here, you probably wouldn't have taken because it turned red. Okay, the background and everything. Here's an ellipse here, 5 ticks. This one here would have blown you away, but you never got a rollover bar anyway. And then this one here was 5 ticks. This one here is 5 ticks, and that one there is 5 ticks at least. So those aren't bad. And if you don't want to trade against them, then buy the one at the bottom instead. Okay. Now this isn't one of them right here. I put this one here. Remember. But that's where we think that this is going to come down to, right? So if we do think that that's going to come down there, could we actually take a little consolidation patch that forms lightning? And some of our people have gotten a lot better at scalping. Oh, that's great. On a default constructor, does not. I had some troubles with Ninja just a little while ago, and it just kind of irritated me. It just started. Let's see if the Object Trader's not even in there. What is the deal? Bear with me just 1 second. Can't do a webinar without Object Trader. Come on. I wasn't even using Object Trader this morning at all, and I started getting these problems. And it was a little too late to go ahead and start the complete reinstall. Let me see if, no, it's not in there. Tell you what, let me do one thing real quick, and it'll probably take like 2 or 3 minutes, but I think we're going to have to do it. I'll pause the screen, and I'm going to go ahead and shut this workspace down and restart it. I just went ahead and paused the screen. Can I close it? Well, yeah, you can't close the last workspace. Start a new one here. And then we'll close the webinar teaching. Save it first, obviously, and then we'll close it. Okay, it's closed. And now let me go ahead and I'll just restart Ninja just real quick. It won't take a second. Hopefully it won't take a second, that is. Bear with me a second. I've got that screen stopped for just a minute. I may have to grab you a cup of coffee or something. Just should take just about a minute and a half or so. We do so much on our computers with, even sometimes corrupted scripts that'll come back from like our programmer, if we've got little glitches and things like that in them that I have to test. And so occasionally I have to rebuild Ninja from scratch, but I've gotten really good at it. I'll go ahead and bring this back over to about this time of day. All right, and then let's hope this workspace actually does build. And does Object Trader. It's loading the charts now. If Object Trader is not there, what we'll do is we'll just do it without it today, which is a possibility, because like I said, about 10 minutes before the thing opened, yeah, it's still the same thing, so there is something definitely wrong. Well, we'll just have to do it without it. Okay. Let's see, not all of us have TF. Can you show another instrument? Well, Maribella, on your question there, really what I'm teaching is price action. It really has nothing to do with the instrument itself. It really doesn't. Okay? Because all of these instruments act exactly the same way on price. I mean, some may be a little quicker and things like that, but as a rule, they all act totally the same on price. Okay. Well, this is going to kind of throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into it because I love to use Object Trader during my webinars, of course. Bear with me a second. Let me see if it'll compile just real quick. If I can get this going, even in 5 minutes, we'd be much better at using it. But if not, then I'll have to rebuild Ninja after we close this webinar down. I'm going to see if it'll compile real quick. If not, then we're just toast. It actually compiles, so you'd certainly think it would work. Okay, we'll do it without Object Trader. All right, so real quick, let's go ahead and go back to the chart. And what I'm going to do, I guess we'll just go through more of a lesson of where these are going to come to. So let's mark on our charts, just like we did just a minute ago. And let's see, let's go ahead and bring this line over here. And let's see if it falls into our phantom area, as of now anyway, right? Okay, and they do. All right, now let's watch this in real time, and you guys and gals tell me if we have to redo this webinar on Wednesday night. I'll do it, but we'll go ahead and keep this webinar going for a bit, just without Object Trader, because when Ninja acted up a little while ago, right before the webinar started, it kept wanting to close down, and I reinstalled Ninja real quick, but not what you call the invasive install, where I started from scratch. So I could have a defective workspace. We can actually use Chart Trader. You want to do that? Matter of fact, you want to try Money Shade today? I hope it doesn't get too confusing if we use Money Shade. Money Shade 1, Money Shade 2. Yeah, we'll go ahead and use Chart Trader and Money Shade. And I won't build any kind of a deal on it at all. And I'm going to get rid of Predictor here. And bear with me a second. We'll go ahead and set this up. Make sure it's in the right settings and everything, default 24/7. And when you start something like this new, I got to make sure that all my colors and things like that are correct. my timing because I see those bars are different colors right now. So lightning is set to 1 minute. That's what I thought. All right, so we'll set that to 4. That one actually is a 12. And then we'll set this one. See what I mean when you start a chart like this and change something on it? You have to make sure that you change things back to where they belong and then resave your template. See, bar color and everything is on 1 minute, so that's why you've got different bar colors. Background, I'm sure, is wrong too. Set that to 4. And let's see here, lightning 1 is 1 minute. It needs to be 4. Lightning 2 is probably 1 minute. I don't know why Ninja does that. And in the code, it's actually set for range, but you know, they just do that. Okay, let's see what we got. We'll save this one as money shade. I've had some people asking about money shade to begin with, so we'll just go ahead and do it today. Save as. We'll go ahead and call this one MS for money shade. All right. Now let's see if we can get us a little deal going here. What do y'all think? Want to? Okay, the way money shade works is you simply use a line on NinjaTrader. You just click your line. It has to be the regular line, not a horizontal line or anything like that or array. It has to be a line. Then you just simply draw it. Okay. Now, when I click on money shade like that, it's got these 3 lines in it. Okay. These 3 dots, that is, in the line. And that has to actually be inside the pricing. Okay. And then what you do, let's say for instance that I wanted to short this right here, then I simply click sell, okay, and this, if this is touched by the price, will go ahead and sell this for me, okay. Let's just go ahead and do a couple of 3 contracts anyway. That's a trend line. I'd probably trust that trend line. You want to see if it'll fire? Now the thing I love about Object Trader is you automatically get your targets and everything else. You would have to build ATM strategies. Okay, that would be an absolute must. And by the way, you could also even set money shade up in case this thing just decides to break up too. Let's see if we can get something. I am going to more than likely go ahead and redo this this particular deal Wednesday because I wanted to use Object Trader. This is kind of making me, that's not even giving me my money shade working out with replay. You have to click on the chart to make the dots disappear. You click on the line itself, but what the deal is, the reason we're not getting money shade in here working is because it's not set up for this replay. Anyway, you could clearly see that I just would have gotten a nice trade, okay? I could have protected it right there, okay? And then look here, down here at Phantom. Wouldn't that have been a good area to have bought? See that right there? Box it in even, something like that. Let's go ahead and see if this trade will work out. It's right there on our lines. See how it's checking our lines right there? See there how I can actually even add if I want to. Now you'd want to be careful with this, obviously, because right now I'm down, let's say, 150 bucks. That's not a big deal with 6 contracts, obviously. But you would need an ATM strategy built because you would have to absolutely have, you know, some cells down here, obviously, right? And you can move it up and everything with Chart Trader. Okay. Now with Money Shade, you could also do some things if you'd like to, where you can even take the line across and even take off a couple of contracts if you want. Okay, because Money Shade is designed that way. Why it's not working on this chart, I'm not sure. It's probably the problem I'm having with Object Trader too. See how this is kissing support right there? For people that missed this trade, couldn't you be looking for this trade right here? Because it's getting ready to bounce right off that line, or it's going to blow me out of my stop, one or the other. See how it just kissed the line? Let's just pretend you didn't even have anything in here yet. Can you see how even drawing that little box right there, that's lightning, and you could actually say, you know what, that looks like a pretty good trade to me right there. Put my stop underneath here, like so, and just let her rip. We're down about 160 bucks. But that's a phantom trade too, by the way. That's one of the trades I was going to talk about today, is the phantom trade. Because the phantom trade, first time after a trend change, is about an 85% probability trade. It's a very, very high probability trade. Notice that you're not really wanting to short this thing yet. Your medium swing's clear down here. They didn't identify this one because they didn't take out the highs here. So this is just more than likely, I'm going to put that right down here while I talk. This is more than likely a higher low, isn't it? And if we had Object Trader, of course, we could be making even better trades than this because we'd be doing this type deal. See this right here? Bias still to the upside with the mid band like it is. Also, why are we looking to the upside like this? Because of this. Isn't that a good reason to be looking for higher highs again instead of going with every little short? Now, that proves that you can do the scalping, though, because we talked about this little area of lightning right through here, and we drew a trend line. That was a decent trade. That was probably 20 ticks. Is that a worthwhile trade to go ahead and take a shot at? It absolutely is, isn't it? And we will have Object Trader in the very near future. I'm hoping this summer, to where this will be a ray and you'll just be able to set it the way you want it. You'll be able to even do a second ray if you want. Let's say, for instance, that you thought if this was to bounce off of right through here or something, you'd be able to have a touch plus and everything. You'd be able to take trades like that. Okay? So I'm working on making this the absolute best thing there ever was. And then Ninja this day messed me up. I'll have it fixed absolutely before Monday, obviously, because I'll just simply go in there and uninstall everything and put it back on. Let's see, sorry, Gary, where do you go on the chart, Trader, to bring up Money Shade? Money Shade is actually an indicator, Adam. It's under indicators. And Money Shade 1 is where basically what you're doing on Money Shade 1, it's calculated on Barclay's false, which means it just has to touch the line. Above for a long, below for a short. The only thing about Money Shade is it has to actually come up through the line or down through the line. Okay? And then on the Money Shade 2 is actually where you can set it for calculate on Barclay's true, which means it would have to close above. Like, let's say if you had Money Shade sitting there, it wouldn't have entered till you got that bar. Okay? But it's not even working right now, and I think it's probably because of my obvious problem with Ninja right now. If you ever get errors where it says object, of a something not set or different things like that, you've got problems. Be sure and call us. We'll get it taken care of. Okay. Anyway, that's how to use Money Shade. Not a bad little tool, but it's not actually working. You just simply put it on the chart. It takes the trade short or long, depending on how you have it. I'm going to go ahead and put that stop just a little under. Well, we got stopped out. Box it in. I see the box right now, don't y'all? There it is. See the little box there? Faked me in a little bit. That's all right. Held support. Wow, look at it go now. Let me slow it down. All right, we are going to redo this webinar on Wednesday night because I want you to see how to make safe and profitable trades basically with Object Trader. But you can clearly see by drawing on your charts, if you draw on these a priori swings, this is where these things come back and test. See these lines? These aren't fake. These lines are here. It hit every single one of them. And they do that. And the reason for that is because we're actually calculating these to where you're getting a little bit of movement, like thrust retrace. You know, that's why you're getting these areas that you can draw on your chart. Okay. Now let's talk about something else real quick. Talking about safe and effective trades. All right. What if you weren't even in this trade just yet? Where do you think another trade is on this chart? What do you think? Yeah, it's definitely something to do with, like I said, Kenneth, right when I was getting ready to start the meeting, like 15 minutes before it, NinjaTrader just all of a sudden said NinjaTrader has run into a problem and needs to shut down. And I thought, oh, that's great. That is just lovely. So obviously it's messing us up today, but we'll live. All right, looking at the left to trade the right, where's our next trade on this chart? By what we just talked about. I like to look at two of them, so I'm going to draw two lines. I see there, and I see there. That one's on mid-band right there. What do you think? Pretty close to mid-band. You want to just fire it? We're not using Object Trader today, unfortunately, but I'm going to watch for a trade. Are we chasers? Are we the type that chases? I'll show you what will happen to you if you chase. If you just go ahead and go and buy this silly thing, you're going to get whacked. More than likely. Because, see, it's already telling you it's double topping a little bit. And you might get something out of it, but are you the type that chases or do you wait? There's mid-band again, but my a priori is right here, so let's just go ahead and leave this line. We'll bring this line down to mid-band. And let's see if we can get a trade. Jonathan G says, I'm a waiter. And the whole reason is because if you're not a waiter, I want to show you what a lot of people do. They go, oh my gosh, I'm being left. I'm being left. And then they hit the buy button, okay? And then they think, well, you know what, I'll give it a basically, you know, loose stop, okay? And then watch what will happen to your P&L. More than likely, watch this thing shoot up like a bullet. But okay, you're up $150. Do you take profit? Now you're going for 9,000, right? Uh-oh, now I'm down 60. You see what I mean? Don't chase trades. This looks to me like it's kind of running out of steam. How many of you do that? Because if you do, you're going to get whacked around. How much does this run? Well, it's run from obviously all the way down here, 95.30 to 1100. That's 50 ticks almost. So do you chase like that? Well, if you do chase like that, then when you see this thing make 150 bucks, hit the close button. Don't let it go against you. You see what I mean? Okay, like right now, if I wanted that, let's close it. Let's take 60 bucks. I don't care if it goes up because that's a thrust trade and that is a no-no. Okay? Let's see, Hardy says, I used to a long time ago before waiting for the retracement to set up for the trade. And that's absolutely it. The retracement is the trade. Okay? Notice how mid-band follows this up. Keep an eye on your a priori swings. Okay? They're going to kind of tell you where to get in. And we're going to get in this thing here and at some point. But what would you do if this was to just shoot up? Well, you'd have to wait for a retracement. Because it's already shot up. And the people that get in up here are the ones that go, uh-oh, I just lost some money. Remember we got in on like this bar way up here just a minute ago. So you're down, right? Well, we went ahead and took $60 profit. So we're in the green. We didn't wait for this because we made a dumb move on the trade. It wasn't a smart move. Okay, our trade is all the way down here because they will come down and they will check those mid bands, especially when they've done, what has this done so far that you can see? Well, even from here, you've got a high, a higher low, and a higher high. Okay, so we're looking for a mid-band type kiss on this trade. Oh, I wish Object Trader was working because I I'd just be turning on bar close when it gets down near that line. And watch the ellipses too. They'll tell you where to get in. We'll definitely have this webinar again, how to make smart and profitable trades, on Wednesday, because this is not my plan for today. But we'll still make some decent trades. By the way, how many in the room, when you started, would you be more than okay if you made, say, $73,000, $74,000 a year trading? Would it change your lifestyle? See, absolutely, wouldn't it? I mean, there's some people in here go, oh, no way, I make $7,000 a day. Well, but you got to, what's the sequence of events when you're a baby? Do you just start running right off the bat, the moment you get out of diapers? Or did you start to crawl? Well, actually, you started rolling around first, right? Couldn't do anything. You just kind of rolled. Watching little grandbabies, to give an example, you see them roll around, and then all of a sudden they figure out how to put those, hands in the carpet, the knees in the carpet, and then they start moving. And what comes after the crawling? Well, they don't immediately just get up and start running through the house, do they? They start, after a while, kind of wobbling and standing up and, kind of falling down, and then they'll stand up against the coffee table, and then they'll fall down. But then pretty soon they figure out how to move those little feet and to get that balance. Okay? And once you get that balance, then obviously that's the time that you're basically ready, right? You're balanced and you're a good trader, and you're walking, and then you could run. Let's see, Kenneth says, too soon it seems at times they are running around the house. Laugh out loud. Absolutely. And that's the thing, that's a mother's worst nightmare in a way. It's kind of great having them where they're not so mobile, because obviously, then you got to childproof the house. You got to get everything, safe, so that those little ones that can move quicker than you can don't get into things that they shouldn't and get hurt, right? Now, we did have a couple of trades we could clearly see from micro type that we could have gotten 7 or 8, 9 ticks or so, but we're just going to wait for this retracement. Yeah, there you go. Adam says, I tried to start running when I first started trading, and that was a very big mistake. Well, see, I did the same thing. I actually went from, I used to trade stocks. That was a whole lot different, because, you had to make any money at all, you had to pretty much be in stocks. And I had, at that time, TV and appliance stores and stuff like that, so I was able to have some decent money to buy some stocks and things, but I could have lost everything too. But, there were days that you could accidentally do stocks and make a lot of money. Those days are gone. Let's see, what was your number thing that helped you finally turn the corner? The thing that actually, to me, helped turn the corner, discipline. If anybody ever wanted to learn what true discipline is, you ought to be around my son. He's like my wife. He's got just incredible discipline. He could literally walk away from the computer when he hits his goal, and he doesn't care if it goes up another 100 ticks, because he's also seen those days, and he even fell for it at first, because you get to that point where you think, wow, you know what, this is too easy. That's another thing you got to be careful of too. It is not too easy, because they can kick you in the face, drag you down the street, and beat you up some more. Trading is a serious business, and if you get to where you think you've totally beaten it, don't get arrogant about it, because I'm here to tell you that these markets do know how to correct you. Been there and done that too, right? All right, let's see if we can speed this up a little bit. Let's see if it'll do what I said it will do. It's probably going to run off with us. There's a little lightning swing right there. See, it's breaking it a little bit. See it? Right there on that lightning swing. That's pretty much it right there, isn't it? It's right at mid-band. Now see, this is a little bit more of one of those trades where you just kind of bought it at the bar close, basically. That's what I bought that at. Everybody see that? Because we were waiting for that retracement, weren't we? And mid-band was kind of telling us, see, this was the swing here that they were trying to test instead, because they had already tested this one over here. See it? That's when you look to the left to trade the right. You'll see where they haven't been if you just draw your lines on your charts. And then, of course, box them in, or use like a ray, to give an example. When you see the little thrust retrace, draw a box around it, stuff like that. Whoa. Now, wouldn't that be enough right there to go, you know what? That's great. I'm up $1,170. I'm done. Absolutely, right? I don't know why it's not showing P&Ls and everything, but it really should. Where's the next trade on this chart? It pretty much already got it, didn't it? I'm going to go ahead and take that. I think it'll check that right there. No lower. Plus, that's also into an ellipse, too. Now, of course, we would have our stop in. If we had Object Trader on, our stop would already be in naturally. We raise it up. We raise it up. The thing I like about Object Trader is that you can use that exit on close instead, and you don't have to worry about getting nicked out of a trade. Whoop, let's go ahead and put it just under here. I see it hadn't checked that. Let it go a little higher. That's probably good enough. Okay, now obviously by now you could easily take some coin. I'm not showing that as much today because we didn't get to use Object Trader. Okay, but again, couldn't you be ready to just take some coin on this one too? You don't have to trade. There's people in our room every single day that probably miss 100 ticks of the room because they don't care. They've already turned off their computer and they're done. Smart trading is what it's all about, right? Let's see, you mentioned that the exit on close is the stop at the broker. What if you don't use exit on close? Then is the regular stop at the broker? Yes. Yeah, when you use exit on close, and I can't show it unfortunately because Object Trader, everybody saw, is obviously not working correctly. But when you're using exit on close, you're actually basically doing something like this. Let's kill this trade real quick. We don't care about it. I'll get rid of these lines and I'll just show you how exit on close actually works. All right, when you actually buy, we're going to buy on a thrust just for the heck of it, okay? When you buy, of course, this is in at your broker, right? All right, so you put a stop in, that's in at your broker also. Now with Object Trader, it's got another feature that, for instance, I can do a stop exit on close, and it puts the stop with my broker 12 ticks under this one automatically. And as I move this, it should move with it. Okay, so if my internet went out, this stop would obviously not be able to be hit because it's just a line on my chart, that Object Trader made. This is where the stop's at your broker. Okay, but you're still protected. Anytime you lose connection or something like that, always get right on the phone with your broker. Okay, if you lost total internet, get on your cell phone, because you never want to in the afternoon notice that you've all of a sudden gotten dinged for 50, 60 ticks against you, and you didn't even know you had a trade on. Okay, so always check with your broker. That's super, super, extremely important. Okay, let's see, so it's 24 ticks. Well, it's actually 12, Mindy, on your question, because wherever you put your stop, let's just pretend this is the exit on close, all right, then your actual stop is at your broker 12 ticks down, because this is actually just simply a line drawn by Object Trader that says if you close below me on a long, I'm going to fire a market order at your broker and get you out. This stop, though, is at your broker, the one that's called the catastrophic stop. I can't even show Object Trader today for some reason. It's not even letting us. If you go to strategy, it does that. So I'll rebuild it after we close the room. Not a big deal at all. Okay. Now always keep in mind too, if you turn off Object Trader or something like that, just like I did like here, turn Chart Trader off, that didn't mean I am no longer in that trade, right? My trade's still in, you know, would still be in at the broker, right? See, that's your trade right there. So you never want to just assume that because your charts aren't showing any trades, maybe you had a problem with NinjaTrader, but that trade's still on there. Okay, so always, you know, check your orders, your positions, and your account. Make sure that everything's the way it should be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way while I teach just for a second, because we got in on a thrust, but I can tell you where the identified swing is on this. And you go, whoa, wait a minute, you're going to take a 40 tick stop? Well, if I was dumb enough to get in there, I probably would. I wouldn't do it with 3 contracts though. But isn't this what's happening on the chart right now? Like that, high, low, higher, high. Isn't this actually a little stop on the, basically, you've got a low here, a high here, and a higher low here. This is your primary swing. This is your secondary swing. What I call a medium swing. Okay. Now, probably more than likely, if I got in like this and it was consolidating like this, I just go, you know what? This isn't going anywhere. I'd kill it. Because where do you think that this trade is more than likely going to come back to? Well, even when they're flying like this, you've got to look to the left to trade the right. And I see a little area right here that they've checked once, right? And they've taken out what, 1106.20? And you'll basically watch for an ellipse is what you'll do. It looks like we would have already hit an ellipse if we had this set right. I don't think these are correct because we changed things again. Always load your template and you'll get everything loading right. I apologize for this being a little bit more, what I'd consider a little bit more, I guess, hard to keep up with, you know, not quite as structured, because I structure all my webinars to work around my theme for the day, and without Object Trader, I'm just done on this chart. Because if we were going to use Money Shade, we would want to have some, you know, custom ATMs, which I didn't come planning on doing. So therefore, I don't have those. Okay, so that's what you'd be looking at. Now, I would look on this chart, and I can tell you about where you need to draw again. Everybody see it? See, they checked lower. They haven't checked here. How many want to bet that more than likely they're going to check in through here somewhere? Let's draw on the chart and see where they've been. Okay. Right here, I'll draw another line like so. Okay. Between those two lines, we should have a trade. Want to see if we do? Just for the fun of it. It may take a while to get there, but I'll bet we do. There was one. Isn't that amazing? Came within 2 ticks of that line that I drew on that chart. Now, how much easier could you get than actually looking for these areas for it to pull back to? We drew that on the chart and it came within 1 tick. Now, I ran it too fast to obviously catch it. I ran it at 500 times. But isn't that a smart, safe, and profitable trade to look to the left on those a priori swings and trade the right? And you'll see it time and time again where they'll do it. Where did this one, let's just slow it down again. Where did this one thrust up, pull back to? Didn't it pull back pretty much into there and you box it in, you got you another trade? Right? It's pretty cool. Where do you think that your identified swing is on this chart right here? Do you think that more than likely that's probably not a trend change yet? And you're thinking, whoa, wait a minute. That's a trend change because you've got a red background and everything. But isn't this actually a bounce off the low? because you've got a high, a low, a higher low, not a higher high. That does not count. This counts. So could I box this in and try to make a trade? Well, I'll box it either way. We'll basically draw it like that. Long out, short out, and we're going to have to engulf this little wick here too, like so. Let's see what it does. There you go. Whoa, look at that. Is that a phantom trade? Looking to the left, trade the right, they'd have to take out that swing right over there. So to me, I don't think I'd be looking for a long as much simply because I've only got to there or there, and that's not a good enough risk-reward trade. Plus, I've got now a pink background, magenta midband, so I'm going to look for this trade. See if we can get it. And I'll tell you when I'm in. See if it works. We'll need to put a stop in though, won't we? Let's go ahead and put our stop in right above this swing. Thrust, retrace, thrust. Let's see if we can get something out of it. Yeah, we're up a little bit. Now, by the way, that's not a thrust trade because I'm going short on this one, not long. There's your double check. That's what they usually do. Where have they not been yet? See if I can get it. Already taken that out, so we're not worried about that. It looks like they're going to check that one again. See it bounce off support. Now, why did I do that? Because that's in a range now. And I'd probably take some coin, obviously, because you're at mid-band, right? It doesn't mean it won't go higher than mid-band, because it probably will. But let's look and see if we can look to the left to trade the right and see where they haven't been. That little ellipse right there. Let's box it in either way. It's going to have to break here, so I'm going to not take this one unless it takes it out to the downside, pulls back, and then reverses. But I'll take this one if it takes out that little swing above mid-band. Just barely took it out. Target would be right up there and there. It really doesn't get any easier than just looking to the left to trade the right. I wish that I would have had, Object Trader working the way it should and everything, because obviously that would have been the smart way to do this. But this is not a bad way to trade every single day, okay? That's like 14:42 in the afternoon, so we really don't care. Let me show you something here real quick, and then we're going to wrap. Bear with me just 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and turn off market replay. And I left that position on. It doesn't matter. It's market replay. I'm going to connect data for my sons. All right, bear with me just a second. Forgot I was still loading charts, but that's okay. 16th to the 20th was this week, right? And let's get rid of replay and sim and only go with his account. And I'll just show you this part because this is, this is private basically as far as that goes, but it's his account. I'll just show this to you. Okay, this is the actual AMP account on his for last week. This is from the 16th to the 20th. This was done with only one contract at a time, by the way, and I'll show that in just a second. This is real stuff. This was $1,410 net profit for the week. That's that $73,000 a year I was just talking about, by the way. $1,580 was gross profit. Only went down $170 in trades. Had 16 total trades, 81.25% profit, 13 winning trades, and 3 losing. That was for the entire week. Okay? That's basically running his to, where it keeps it moderate. I don't want to take, loads of chances with his money because it's his money. Kind of mine because I made it for him, but anyway, it still works. I'll show you the, basically here. Just one second. And this is the actual log right here. Okay, this was the first trade all the way down through the 16th trade. And that was a losing one by a little bit. That was on a Monday morning. And then you had one here and one here. Okay, so can a person actually then more than likely, if we teach you to do this, can you more than likely do something like this and be able to get that good and profitable? Because that's what we're here to teach you, is this type of trading. Because I'm not going to, sit here and say I'm going to make 100% of my trades. I don't think anybody can. If you can, then you've never been, had one blip real quick or something like that. That'll happen to you. But that's 81.25, only 16 trades for the week. That was 3 total losing trades, 13 total winning trades, and that made him $1,410. Now, if you take that and you can continually do that, multiply that times 52, and that's $73,320. Okay? Now, that means that if you can do this every single week, that's $73,320, and that was only, as you saw, one contract on either oil or YM. Okay, there was never any double contracts or anything. I wanted to actually do this for one solid week so I could show people that you can actually do one contract and still make a living trading. Okay, because I have a lot of people that ask me, how many contracts and things like that. Okay, the times that I'm doing those trades are actually during the room, Hardy. Basically, you'll see, just a second, let me see if I can show that. The times, bear with me a second, where are they at? Here it is. Here's times right here. This one was at entry time of 7:30ish. Bear with me a second, I'm going to bring this over. All right, 7:30, got out at 8:31. That's when the market, it had just gone sideways, and then all of a sudden it went the other direction. And this particular one, same one, went in and got the trade at the open. So see, these are open time trades. They're during the time our room's open. So actually, that's not too shabby when you think about it, because I'm actually teaching and was trading his account. So, that's actually showing that it can be done. The targets and stops, basically what I'm doing is exactly like I teach. There's times when I get busy. For instance, on this chart right here, I might have had my stop all the way under here at one time, okay, because that's your lightning swing. See it? Thrust, thrust, retrace, thrust. But you don't want it under here now. We talk about like bringing them, for instance, where is it not checked yet? Well, let's look and see. It hasn't checked across here yet, right? And that's a little swing. So I'd probably put my stop, just a tad under this one right here. See this thrust, retrace thrust? They shouldn't really come back any further than here on my runner. But if you were looking at lightning only, you could get in and out, and you just simply put it under there because that's your lightning swing. Well, actually, your lightning swing's even right here right now. That's a little tight for me because this secondary swing is a little bit more accurate at not getting taken out, because you're talking about, you know, literally micro swings, okay? And when they're micro like that, obviously, you don't want to just get taken out, taken back out, and all that, right? So where did that particular trade go? Well, that looks like that's pretty much the end of the day right there, okay? So basically, the whole idea is that you want to make smart, safe, and profitable trades. Now, the only reason that I showed that, truthfully, I'm kind of private about things like this because we are here to teach you how to fish, not how to just be given a, you know, we're not a socialist company. We don't give everything away. It's basically we want you to learn how to do it, because if you can do it, you can teach others to do it, and you can fish for yourself, and you can feed your family. And that's what we're all about, is teaching people how to do this. And the only reason I showed that right there was because I wanted to take one solid week and not do anything but one contract, because that's what we bring people in, showing them that they can take a small account and make good money on it. Because $1,410 is, well, let's say if you started with only like a $3,000 account, that's 50% profit in a week, right? That can be done in futures trading, okay? Because, matter of fact, if you were good enough, you might have taken a $590 account and turned it into a $2,000 account by the end of the week. Just depends how good you are. Okay, but that's the whole idea. We're going to teach you how to be that good. And Wednesday, we're going to do how to make safe and profitable trades. And yeah, and see, the thing is, like Hardy says, the average U.S. income is $50,000 per year. So if you think about $50,000 a year, lots of people go to 40-hour jobs. Now, let's take this into consideration that we have that room open for exactly 2 hours and 5 minutes. Let's just round it at 2 hours. So if you figure $1,410, we open the room 10 hours a week, that's $141 an hour. Now, not too many jobs in the U.S. pay $141 an hour. Now, Kevin Durant makes a lot more than that, but, you know, we're not in that category. I can't play basketball that great. So $141 an hour like that is not a bad way to make a living. Double that contracts, triple that contracts, 4 times that contract, and that 1,410 turns into 3,000-4,000. Okay. All right. Sorry, we kind of messed up today with Object Trader. I'll absolutely have it fixed. We'll do this exact same webinar on Wednesday night, except we'll actually use Object Trader and show things the way they do. 2 lot is 150. Yeah, exactly. Hardy says if you just did 2 lots and held them like that, that's $150,000 a year. And what it takes is discipline. You just don't want them to take you. If you can do 81% on your trades, you're going to make money to begin with, as long as you let some runners run. You know, on one single contract on YM to make $200 and $300 a day, you're having to get 60 ticks. And I just wanted to show that. That was 16 total trades, 1 contract every single time, and to show that it can be done. All right. Adam says, is there a list of disciplinary rules somewhere on the site? Well, actually, there is. Adam, we used to have a risk management type deal. I'll ask Charles where that's at, because I don't know if we've got that on the site at this time, but I'll find out. Also, by the way, if any of you guys run into any naysayers out there that go, well, you know, anybody can show this or that, that was an actual AMP account. That is what was done with that last week. Okay, and we show our trades lots of times to begin with. You know, when I call them in the room, that's where we're getting into the trades, right? And I do some add-ons and things like that on my own personal. But if you think about that particular way of getting 81.25%, just think if you kick that up to 4 or 5 contracts and add on, take away, add on, and take away. You could make consistently, you know, $3,000 to $5,000 a day, and that's a lot of money. We're talking about, you know, $1 million trader then. Okay, do we track mid-band and phantom trades? Walter, on your question, I think those mid-band and phantom trades work extremely well. You remember when I mentioned when Charles got that little short on Friday on NQ, which worked out, but live in the room I said, well, let's look at this. This is our low, this is our previous high. We're still in an uptrend. And what did NQ do after that? It went like a bullet. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. I'll have this posted, and I do apologize for the problem on Object Trader. I'm in tears on it. I love Object Trader. All right, we'll see you on Monday. Bye everyone. Thanks.